In the bustling city of Soras, there was a young man named Ethan who had built a successful career in finance. He was smart, ambitious, and had big dreams for the future. But despite his outward success, Ethan was overwhelmed by stress. Each day, he juggled multiple high-pressure projects, tight deadlines, and constant demands from his superiors. He was always running from one task to the next, struggling to keep up with the expectations of others while his own well-being slowly deteriorated. The pressure was taking its toll on his health, his relationships, and his mental clarity. Ethan had always prided himself on being able to handle stress, but over time, the weight of his responsibilities became too much to bear. His anxiety levels skyrocketed, and he found it harder to stay focused. He would often feel like his mind was racing 1,000,000 miles per hour, unable to catch up. Sleep became elusive, and he could no longer enjoy the things he once loved. Even when he tried to relax, his mind would race with thoughts of unfinished tasks and looming deadlines. He knew something had to change, but he didn't know where to start. Stress had taken control of his life, and he felt powerless to stop it. One evening, after another exhausting day at work, Ethan walked through the city's quiet park to clear his head. There, he met an older man named Rajiv, sitting on a bench reading a book. Rajiv was well known in the city for his calm demeanor and ability to stay composed, even in the most chaotic situations. Ethan had heard stories about Rajiv's remarkable ability to manage stress and remain focused no matter the challenges life threw his way. Intrigued, Ethan decided to approach him. "Excuse me, Rajiv," Ethan said. "I've heard a lot about how you manage stress so well. I'm struggling to keep up with everything in my life, and it's affecting my health and happiness. I'm always stressed, anxious, and I can't focus anymore. How do you stay calm and focused even in tough situations?" Rajiv looked up from his book, his calm eyes meeting Ethan's. "Ethan," Rajiv said softly, "stress is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. Let me tell you a story." Rajiv began his story. Many years ago, there was a young man named Arjan who worked as a carpenter. He was skilled, hardworking, and determined to succeed. But much like you, Arjan found himself overwhelmed by stress. He had a family to support, bills to pay, and his business was growing rapidly. The more he worked, the more pressure he felt. One day, after working long hours in his shop, he was so exhausted that he nearly collapsed. His mind raced with thoughts of unfinished projects, and he could hardly focus. He knew he needed to rest, but he couldn't stop thinking about his work. So he kept pushing himself harder. Rajiv paused for a moment and continued. One evening, after yet another sleepless night, Arjan met an old man in the village. The man, named Naren, was known for his wisdom and calmness. Naren asked Arjan why he looked so stressed. Arjan explained his struggles, and Naren listened patiently. Then Naren told him, "Arjan, your body and mind are your most valuable tools. You cannot keep running on empty. Stress will drain you, and if you don't find a way to manage it, you will burn out. The key to success is not in pushing harder, but in learning to pause, breathe, and regain your focus." Ethan listened carefully as Rajiv spoke, his mind absorbing the message. He realized that, like Arjan, he had been pushing himself too hard without taking the time to rest and recharge. "So what you're saying is that managing stress isn't about doing more, but about learning to pause and focus?" Ethan asked. Rajiv nodded with a smile. "Exactly. Stress often comes from the feeling that we must keep doing, keep moving, keep rushing. But the truth is, when we slow down, breathe, and center ourselves, we regain clarity. The most successful people are not the ones who work the hardest, but the ones who can manage their stress and maintain their focus under pressure." Ethan felt a sense of relief wash over him. For the first time in a long while, he realized that stress didn't have to be a constant companion. He didn't have to let it control him. He could take back control by learning to stay calm and focused, even when everything around him felt overwhelming. Determined to change, Ethan started implementing the techniques that Rajiv had shared with him. He began by setting aside time each day to practice mindfulness and meditation. Instead of diving straight into his work every morning, he spent a few minutes focusing on his breath, clearing his mind, and setting his intentions for the day. He also made sure to take short breaks throughout the day to step away from his desk, stretch, and reset his mind. At first it was challenging. Old habits were hard to break, and there were still moments when stress would creep in. But slowly, Ethan began to notice a shift. He felt more in control of his emotions, less reactive to the stressors around him. His productivity increased, and he found himself tackling tasks with a clearer mind and greater focus. He stopped working late into the night and started prioritizing his well-being. The more consistent he was with these practices, the more calm and focused he became. As the months went by, Ethan felt a renewed sense of energy and clarity. His work life improved, his relationships grew stronger, and most importantly, he felt at peace. The stress that once controlled him no longer had a hold on his life. He had unlocked the secret to managing stress effectively, and it had made all the difference. Years later, Ethan became a successful entrepreneur, known not only for his business acumen, but also for his ability to stay calm and focused under pressure. He often shared his story with others, teaching them how to manage stress effectively and remain composed in challenging situations. Stress is a part of life, he would say, but it doesn't have to define you. The key is learning how to manage it so it doesn't control you. Stay calm, stay focused, and the rest will follow. He would always end his talks with a powerful question. So, what about you? Are you ready to manage stress effectively? Are you ready to stay calm and focused no matter what life throws your way?